Welcome to day 23 of the Christmas Advent. You may have noticed that day 22 was missing. Unfortunately, I had some really sad news yesterday. And as you can imagine, it was really bad news. I wasn't really going to take some time out of my day for doing this Christmas vlog. So apologies that wasn't done. But today I thought I would show you what I'm going to be sowing in January. Give you a little bit of a head start on what I'm growing in January. So I'm not sowing all of these seeds. I'm going to be very select with my seed sowing. There are a few that can be sown all year round, and I want to get started on those ones nice and early because I'll probably do 2 sowings of them throughout the year. Okay, so the first one is mustard white. Now that's an all year round, and I just wanted something a little bit different inside my salads. And to have with my spinach. I'm imagining this goes really nicely with spinach. I'm only going to sow 3 seed modules with these, and these ones, once they are established, I will have 2 at home and 1 at the allotment. The next one is quite possibly one of my favourites. So I've got dill, so that will be going in, and I'll have this at the allotment and I will have this at home because it's got such a strong scent. I will be popping this in all of my raised beds just to put off any unwanted insects, shall we say, because it is smelling so strong. And I will also put some of this in with my strawberry plants, again to deter some of the pests. And when I use this, I cut off quite a big chunk at a time, so I need it in quite a few different places. So that's one there. I will probably do 6 seed cells with this. And then we've got the basil. This is just your normal basic basil. I grew 2 different types this year, and I didn't really like the taste of the purple one. As much as it was beautiful, when I let it go to seed it was even more beautiful. I still prefer the taste. So the reason why I'm sowing this one now, so this one will be going in with my tomato. So I want these well established for when I put my tomato plants in. So that is what this is for, and that's why I'm starting these now. And the next one is aubergine. This will be one that I'll start off inside. So I'm not the biggest fan of aubergines, but the long thin ones are supposed to be a little bit nicer, not so bitter. So I'm going to try these ones. Okay, so I will sow those within the first 10 days. So I'll either sow them all at the same time, or if I don't get around to sowing them all at the same time, it's fine. I'm giving myself 10 days for those first seeds. And again, for the second lot of seeds, I'm giving myself 10 days to do so. I kind of put them in an order where any that say sow February are on the last week of January, so it's as close to February as possible. Okay, so I have got nasturtiums. So there's no picture on this one. This is the mixed dual. So the nasturtium dual double mixed, sorry. Again, these are great for the caterpillars and all that kind of stuff to be on this rather than your plants. So I will have these near the tomatoes but not too close. And I also found that my brassicas got destroyed, so I definitely need more of these around my brassica bed area to distract the butterflies from my brassicas, and that will be in my home garden and at the allotment. Even though I have got the cage, I'm still putting these up. Probably 9 modules for these. I'm not sure what would have self-sown this year from this year's crop. So the next one is baby leaf lettuce. Now I will do probably 3 or 6 of these. I haven't quite decided. It depends if I see any other lettuce that I want to grow, or spinach or anything like that I'll be growing. I want a nice early crop, and this is the only one that my little boy eats. So I will be growing this, and then it will be transplanted into my cold frame outside when it's big enough. Okay, and then some salvias. I love these. I think they are stunning. These will be going at the plot and in my home garden. The next one is Achillea cassis. Yeah. That is sowing anytime January to June. So I will probably do 2 sowings of this, and I will only have 3 seed cells of this one. And then Lupin Summer Carnival. Now, this one I was umming and ahhing whether or not to do, because in one of my videos you will see that I bought myself quite a few lupins bare root. Some of those are going to be going up to the allotment, and I've already planted, I think, 3 maybe in my home garden, and I'm wondering if maybe that's too much. But I might also plant a couple in the front of my garden as well to attract the pollinators. So I might do that as well, especially around where I'm going to have my chili peppers. So I might still do some of those. If so, it will only be 3. And then we've got sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to start those off indoors. I'm going to be growing a lot of tomatoes next year, and I'm actually going to grow them at the allotment for the first time. So I'm only going to grow 2 or 3 different varieties. I'm only going to grow 2 or 3 of each variety because I don't want to be overloaded. Instead of having a whole row of one type, I will be doing my bigger ones probably at the allotment, because it's not something I would just go in the garden and pick in. Like anything small I'd like to do in my home garden, and I have the space to do that, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm actually going to keep one in the greenhouse next year. I'm actually going to keep one in the greenhouse next year if I have room. And then some Greek oregano. So I've never tasted this one, and I really like oregano. Anything really strong when you're eating it, I like that type of herb. That's why coriander is probably my favourite. So yes, I'm going to grow some of this, but I'm going to grow this in like ornamental pots, and then have them in the greenhouse throughout the summer, and have them also in home indoors, so I can smell them indoors and then just pick them as well. So I'll have these around my house indoors as well. So in the following 10 days, or shall I say 11, I probably won't plant anything on January the 1st, so it'll be the 10 days. Next is celery. So I had celery, I popped celery in at the end of March this year in my garden. It did fantastically well. It didn't go to seed, and it lasted for months. You know, it was a great cropper in my garden. Loved it. It loves the water a lot. I mean, you can literally drown it on a daily basis and it would just bless you with the most beautiful stems and beautiful green foliage. So this will not be going in the allotment, only my home garden. So I will probably only sow 6 or 9 seeds of this. And then I've got Rapunzel. Just that one there. Again, I will sow these indoors. And I'm hoping to put some of these in hanging baskets on my greenhouse. That is the plan with these, because then if it does get really hot and they keep drying out, I can move them then, because they're in baskets, into a shadier place. Because I don't want them to blister or struggle with water or anything like that. So that's an idea. So I'm only going to be growing 2 of these. And then sun golds for the first time. I will have these at the allotment and in my home garden, sorry. Never had these before, never tried them. F1 says they're fantastic, so that's why I'm trying these. So again, that's probably 2 in my home garden, and I'll probably go 3 at the allotment for this one. Celeriac. Starting these off indoors. I didn't grow any of it this year, but I'd like to have a little try of it next year. We'll probably put this into the ground. I might even put this into the brassica bed, because of its scent. It might again get the aphids to do one. That ruined my brassica this year. And then a red cabbage. So again, that will be sown indoors. I never grew any of these again, and I was a little bit gutted. I'm not a big fan of red cabbage, but if I get some small enough heads, I can use them in a coleslaw. I'm not looking for a big one, maybe 1 for Christmas. So I will probably only sow 6 of these seeds. And last but not least, I will be starting my chilies. Now I've got my Scotch bonnet over winter, and I decided to bun off all the other ones. They weren't looking great. They've gone quite grey very, very quickly, whereas the Scotch bonnet that I'm over wintering is still very green. So I think that one's probably going to be okay. So I'm going to start on these because I want quite a few of these, because I want to make jalapeno poppers. That's the plan. So, and I want them to go red. It took a long time for mine to go red this year. I don't know if anyone else had that problem. So I will be sowing these indoors as well. And then in February, I'll be sowing 2 or 3 other ones. So that is everything that I'm sowing in January. If you have any ideas that I haven't put in here, let me know if you've got like a proper cracker that you think I should be sowing in January, or if I've missed something that I should be sowing in January. I've got some sweet peas already in the greenhouse. I might chuck in a few more sweet pea seeds just to add to it, but that is going to be my main. This is definitely being sown into the greenhouse or into the house on my racking, which will be in a south facing window. I will see you tomorrow for day 24. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, so I'm probably going to get one out nice and early tomorrow. Have no idea what I'm going to pop out there for you, but I will be back tomorrow. Thank you.